Okay, so for my first YouTube video, I decided to kick it off with my favorite story in all the years of practice. So we're gonna go back 8 years to Abilene, Texas. I am practicing with Bob Leedy, a badass, and the whole goal was for me to be a badass working for him. But there came a day where that badassness was tested, to say the least. When this couple comes through the door, young newlywed couple, and the woman had bitten down on something and her tooth broke right up there. And she's like, and I mean, it can't be saved. So I'm like, all right, well, let's get the rest of it pulled and we can get the rest of it figured out. So anyways, my job is to just pull a tooth. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of tooth there, so I'm digging for 3 roots, and easier said than done, but especially because this tooth actually is a healthy tooth, trying to get rid of 3 roots in healthy bone, not that easy, but I'm like, I got this, no worries, no doubt at all. But, so all you gotta do, the technique is you put this long burr, this bigger burr too, like inside of, your drill. And you go and you cut like a Y. And you separate these 3 roots into like their own singular kind of teeth. And so anyways, I got my little Y cut done, and I get out the first root in just a few seconds, and the husband's like, yeah. So anyways, so we get to the second root, and it ain't moving like the first one. So anyways, so I get my drill back out, and I'm like, as soon as I touch that drill bit, like to the tooth, it just spins out and like disappears. I mean, I'm waiting for that thing to drop and hit the ground somewhere, hit a wall, hit anything, and nothing. I didn't hear anything. I look over at my assistant, and she's like, she got nothing. And I'm like, so I go and find another burr, and I put it in there, and this time I check it, inside the drill thing, and sure enough, it slips out. So I had to change the drill, and I'm like, crap. So I get a new drill with a new burr, and I go in there, and I finish my cut better, and now I proceed, and I get out the other 2 roots in the next, 4 or 5 minutes, and they're just like, sweet, that was awesome, easy enough, all right, cool, we'll be back, hopefully not with another broken tooth. But I'm just like thinking about this whole thing. I'm like, the whole time I'm just like, where's that damn burr? So I'm like, you know what? Let's just better safe than sorry. I mean, I don't know where that burr went. I don't know if it went down our, the windpipe, or I don't know where it went. And in my mind, I'm thinking about what possibly could have happened. And I was just hoping or praying against all odds that it didn't do that, which is pretty much like the spiraling of the burr, like up that other root canal thing. And then because apparently it's possible that the very tip of it, at the very tip of it is maybe up in here in the maxillary sinus. I mean, it's possible. So I take the x-ray, and I get that x-ray back, and for all the world to see, yeah, that's not good. It's not supposed to actually be back by the ear. So anyways, they're like, well, how do we get it out? And I'm like, we just have to cut right here and do a flap, and their eyes got all big, and I'm like, I'm just kidding. It's easy. It's totally easy. And they're like, okay. In my mind, I'm just like, what the F? What am I gonna do? I'm like, I got this, but do this for me. I'm like, can she do a handstand? And she's like, yeah, I was in gymnastics. And I'm like, oh, perfect, okay. I'm gonna leave the room, you get jiggy with it, like get freaky in here, do a handstand, jumping jacks. I just need that burr to like come forward. And so they're like, And she's like, are you serious? And he's like, I think he is. And he got excited. I mean, he probably hadn't seen his wife do gymnastics before. So he was in for a treat, apparently. So I leave the room and I come back and they are in tears, just bawling. They're laughing their heads off. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, I haven't seen her move like that since our honeymoon. And so I'm like, okay, well, cool. Let's see how good it worked. And so I get her back. I take that X-ray again, and it's moved. It's not back here anymore, but it moved all the way forward, like past the entrance. And I'm like, dang it. I'm like, okay, I got it. Okay, all you gotta do now, simple enough, is just like a shot glass, just jerk your head back a few times. And he starts laughing. He's like, just like our honeymoon. And so she did that a few times, and then out of nowhere, she's like, I felt it move. It moved. And I'm like, okay, cool, don't move. And so we take her and grab a new X-ray, and sure enough, I mean, it is like right over one of those root openings. So I'm just like, okay, well, I can't lean you back or else it'll fall backwards again. So I'm just like, I'll go all like Maverick Top Gun on this and like so I'm like upside down inside there with the light shining in, and I can see this little piece of silver at the very like top of this like cave. And I'm like, I think that's it. So I get this little dental tool and I just kind of go up there and I just kind of peck away at it, and it moves, and I'm like, okay. And I finally get the little hook end of it, and I just grab it and I pull it down a little bit, and I put some tweezers up in there to grab the tip of it, and right as I'm literally pulling this thing out, my boss walks through the door. Because apparently my assistant decided that it was a great idea to just go inform him of this, and so he's walking through the door just pissed. And as I'm pulling it out though, I'm just holding this like this, and just in my tweezers, and I'm holding it up like Castle of Grayskull, like He-Man, like He-Man. He bought it. He's like, you're the man. You're the man. He's really proud of me. He gave me a raise that day. No, he didn't. He didn't give me a raise. But it was a good day. Went from a bad day to a good day. Always nice when you can turn something like that. And they were excited. They said this is the best dental visit they'd ever had. And so that's always good news. If you like the story, if you want to hear more behind the scenes or up close and personal, you just don't know what's going to walk through the door in a dental office. So if you want to hear more about stuff like this, subscribe to my page. I'll be happy to share. And peace.